everyone, today we're going to go over a couple examples of how to solve these problems in your week 1 packet, and this is for the modified lesson. So this is week 1. This is for the modified version. The first half of your packet is asking you to solve for the variable using addition or subtraction. And the second half of your packet is asking you to solve for the variable using multiplication or division. So we're going to look at number 1, where the problem says r minus 9 equals negative 5. To keep track of both sides of the equation, you can draw a line down your equal sign. That separates the left side of your equation from the right side of your equation. So now when we solve this, we want to look at the side of the equation that our variable's on. Then we want to cover up our r and figure out what do we want to get rid of. And in this case, we want to get rid of this negative 9. What is the opposite of a subtraction sign? It's an addition sign. So I can get rid of this negative 9 by adding 9. And if I add 9 to this side of the equation, I also have to add 9 over here. The negative 9 plus 9 equals 0. That is why we can cancel it out. Then all we're left with is to bring down the r. And so we have r equals, well, now we have to figure out what is negative 5 plus 9. If you type it in your calculator or use a number line, you would get that r equals 4. To do another example, we can also look at number 5 on this packet. Question number 5 says 6 plus v equals positive 2. When solving this, we can still draw our line down the equal sign to separate the left side from the right side of your equation. I'm still going to look at the side of the equation that my variable is on, and I'm going to cover up my variable. The first thing I need to do is get rid of that positive 6. How do we cancel out a positive 6? Well, the opposite of add is subtract. So I'm going to subtract 6 from this side. And then I also have to subtract 6 from this side. 6 minus 6 is 0. And that is why we can cancel that out. And all we're left with on this side is v. Well, v equals what is 2 minus 6. If you have 2 of something and you take 6 away, you would have negative 4. So you would get v equals negative 4. We can also take a look at some from the second half, where it's asking you to use multiplication or division. So we're going to take a look at number 17. Number 17 on your packet says 14 times x equals 280. We can still draw our line to separate both sides of the equation. We're still going to take a look at the side of the equation that our variable is on. That says 14 times x. And how do we get 14 away from that x? Well, the opposite of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide this side by 14. If I divide that side by 14, I need to do the same thing over here. 14 divided by 14 is 1. We're going to be left with the 1x. Now we have to figure out what is 280 divided by 14. If you type that in your calculator, you should get 20 as your answer. to number 17. You also have ones that maybe look like fraction bars. If we take a look at number 23, for example, number 23 on your packet is 12 equals x over 9, or x divided by 9. I want to get x by itself. I'm going to draw my line here to separate both sides. This says x divided by 9. If I want x by itself, I need to use inverse operations. The opposite of divide is multiply. So I'm going to multiply this side by 9. And if I multiply this side by 9, I also need to multiply this side by 9. These 9s will cancel out, and I will be left with x equals. Now I have 9 times 12. You can use your calculator, or we can try some long multiplication over here. 12 times 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. So if you have 12 times 9, you get the answer 108. So there's an example of how you use division and multiplication to get the variable by itself in your packet. Number 24 is a particularly challenging one, so we are also going to take a look at that one. Number 24 says 3 divided by 4 equals n divided by 12. So we can still use inverse operations and multiply this by 4 and multiply this by 12. But an easier way to look at this one might be to see it as a proportion. We have a fraction equal to a fraction, which means it's a proportion. And we can cross multiply or use the butterfly method to solve. So in this case, you could do 3 times 12. So you would have 3 times 12. Then it's equal to, so we'll set it equal to 4 times n, or 4n. So now we can go ahead and solve for this one. 12 times 3 is going to give us 36 equal to 4 times n. I want to get n by itself, and currently this says 4 times n. The opposite of multiply is divide. I'm going to divide this side by 4. That means I also need to divide this side by 4. 4 divided by 4 is going to cancel out, and I'm going to be left with n. And n equals 36 divided by 4, which would give us 9. So there's examples 1, 5, 17, 23, and 24 in your week 1 packet.